I want to make sure I get these in the right orientation. That all looks good. Perfect. All right. Now, this is some extreme heavy-duty liquid nails. And this stuff tends to work pretty good. So hopefully you'll like sticking to this. And we'll just get some on there. One of these, and we'll just get a nice even spread. Good. Now, this will come in right like that. Wiggle this around a little bit so that it's good. Now I have some extra ones, some missing ones here, so I will take these stones and put them in right where we want them. All right, so what happens, I figure out what to do on this end. These, and it's going to go right there. Nice, good to go. And okay, I have to figure it out. What are you? Sure. Okay. All right, now let's get some on this side here. All right, we have the stone all the way around this and clamped on there nice and tight. And we're going to go ahead and just let this sit overnight, and then we'll come back tomorrow and work on the next step. Probably will be obviously taking the clamps off and probably grinding, cutting these stones down to where they're flush with this the plastic board, and then we'll have a nice place to anchor the wood planks, and then we'll work on finding a good way to anchor the tower to here and get the all the wiring done, so then we can work on the structure above it. Well, Welcome back to our program here, and what we've done is we went ahead and used that grinder with the diamond blade and trimmed the stone so it's even with the plastic wall, and we have, you know, just kind of test fitting the stairs that came from the old building. And I took this apart because I need to do, you know, work on getting it reattached to the base, but this is just the, you know, the water tank that we have. And then what I did was I used that diamond grinder again and cut out a little notch so that this this brass tubing can fit in there. And then I have a little section of wire with, this is just security cable with 2 leads inside of it so that I can run power to the little light that goes back in on the tower later on. So this is all coming together nicely. The next step I'm going to do is rewire this stand here, this base for the water tank, and I'm having enough wire come out so that I can pull this out and replace the light bulb if needed. So we'll do this first. I've got a little bit of shrink tubing. And I do need some solder. That's all good to go. The next thing that we're going to do is right here. We have this little bit of brass tubing to protect the wire as it runs from the tower into the base. Like that. All right, so now all that's pretty good to go. So I got some of this liquid nails, extreme heavy duty. And I'm going to there. I'm just going to run a bead all the way around like that. And pardon me. Line this up in the center, that through. Making a little bit of a mess here. Perfect. So this is all good. We got some glue on there. Now I have this big carriage bolt with a kind of a large washer at the bottom. I'm going to feed this up through the bottom up here. Like that. And next is I cut a little piece of scrap metal, a hole in there. I'm just going to set you there. And the washer on top of that. And go ahead and crank this down. Pulls this into the plastic. So it has excellent. So now we have our wiring coming up into the base. And it's all nice and anchored. Attached nicely. It's almost sticking into the plastic, so you can a little bit more. Yeah, I think that will work. So, now we have our base all good to go. Also, if you notice, I painted the white plastic kind of a dark brown so that it is, if dirt isn't completely over it, you don't see a white plastic base. The last thing I want to do is I'm going to use this cut-off wheel and cut this off a little bit, trim it down. We now have our the base to the tower attached. We have this base, that's all set to go. It's coming together nicely, and the next step will then be to attach the tank and the base of the tank onto here. So we'll let this set up, let that glue, that adhesive, that takes a good several hours for that to set up, and by that time hopefully our roof will be all set up and we can continue on with the next steps. Well, welcome back to the shop and the program. Give you a little update on what we have been working on here with this. Finally decided with a kind of what name to call this building. Reminds me a little bit of kind of a backwoods distillery. And you have plenty of water, and then your distilling thing, kind of a funky, cool little building. And my uncle, wonderful person, and he passed away several years ago. He would have been, gosh, I think over 100 now. But when I remember growing up as a kid, and all the family barbecues and dinners up at the cabin and things like that, he was in charge of the bar at the house or the barbecue or whatever, and he was always kind of mixing up a concoction for people to drink of the fermented and distilled type. So I thought what better than to honor him than calling this Harry's Distillery. So I think that's what we're gonna call this. Kind of a fun name. And what I was working on is we had, of course, all this metal frame cut, by a cutting shop. And then my original thought was to use JB Weld and put that on there. And actually only held one of the joints pretty good. The rest of it just didn't hold up well. So another friend of mine has an artistic ironworks where they make fancy doors and handrails and things like that. And I took it over to him, and he looked at it and said, "Sure, we can tack that together for you." And came back the next day, and it was all welded up, and it's nice and solid, so be able to hopefully withstand our winters. Seem to be getting, especially this year, pretty deep here at the Alpine and Western Pacific Railroad. So I wanted something that could stay out all year round and be buried with snow, and so that's why I decided to rebuild this building and do a steel frame. I don't want to paint this. I want it to rust. I think it'll be a really kind of neat looking after a couple of years of it getting all rusty and so forth. Kind of an old kind of dilapidated distillery back in the woods or somewhere. So that's where we came up with that. The next thing that I did was I got some brass tubing, and I just used that to run the wiring around the frame. And I have 2 lights here and a little gooseneck lamp here. And I use these little connector things. These things work great, so that if I need to replace the light bulb, I can go ahead and just disconnect it here and pull out the wiring and put a new one in. So this is all set to go. And what I want to do is I've made these little wooden blocks here to help hold these posts in place. And these will just slide right in like so. And let's go right like that. And that looks good. It'll hold that nicely in place. I will worry about wiring these up in just a little bit. But what I want to do next is I'm going to start by gluing and pinning these planks in place so that we have a nice finished deck here. And as I get near the back here, I will go ahead and finish up the wiring. I did cut a 3/4 of an inch hole in the base to accomplish 2 things. One, water will certainly seep into this, and this is a pretty watertight basin, so to speak, so I wanted to make sure the water could drain out of there in the wintertime or during the summer when if it rains, and also to be able to feed the power supply up into the building. So that's all set, and we will then get this all wired up as well and attach that and put the hand railing around. But the next thing that I'm going to do now is go ahead and actually grab some dinner and then come out and start gluing and pinning these in place.